he picked the wrong family, and not scared of a conflict, and we're not scared. We're not running. We're coming at him.
Good morning, guys. Welcome to the think tank. Oh, welcome, Z. Morning, Dandy. Yeah, we'll just wait a couple minutes here. I just cannot believe what's been going on. Another mass shooting. Like, holy. So I'm just waiting for them to kick in, and as soon as they do, we'll be all over it. And then later, we have Brian Koberger to look at. I am just waiting for some streams to get up, and I'm waiting to hear back from the court. So I've got my, what is it? I guess your rights to stream or to share, I guess. So yeah, unbelievably sad. They should be streaming here in any minute. Any minute. I am looking to see if there's something else that might be. So it is minus 14 in the Rockies. Okay, I think I'm going to do this one. Okay, I'm going to do this, friends. There we are. There we are. How are your side of the Rockies this morning, Dandy? We woke up to more snow equipment. It's early for winter. It's too early. So I cannot believe this guy is still on the loose, as well as the guy that I'm alive to judge. I don't think that they've caught him yet either. I'll take a look actually after this stream and see if they've got anything. City of Lewiston. What a mess. So a bowling alley and a bar? Or is this bowling alley also a bar? I don't know if the U.S. has things like that. Are you expecting snow tonight? Yeah, burr. 61 in Lisbon. Oh, in Maine. Okay. We're Celsius. I don't know how to flip that. In Maine. Beautiful state. Yeah. Not Minnesota. All right, so 61. Is winter anywhere near hitting you yet, Z? Oh, hello there, Douglas. Good to see you, friend. Good to see you. Good day, crew. Hello and welcome. I'll keep it full screen. I don't need to be on there at all. They should be up and running. Let's do this. How's it doing in Aussie land as far as weather? You guys doing good? You guys have opposite seasons than us, I think. No, not as far as I know, Douglas. 16.1 Celsius. Okay. Okay. So we're minus 14 Celsius. Oh, beautiful. That's my favorite season. All the little baby animals. I couldn't imagine being where you are and being able to enjoy all that. Hello, Sarah. Thanks very much, friend. We're just waiting for them to start. And Jazzy's barking at the garbage guy. Spring. So, are you also watching the Delphi case with Richard Allen? That ish show. So I'm not 100% sure yet if I'm going to do a stream later on one of the cases, or if I'll just wait and try and get on the Brian Kohlberger stream later. That's the one I'm really interested in. Oh, upstate New York. Nice. You following the Gilgo case at all? So before we're started, friends, don't forget to hit that subscribe and that thumb. So what happened? This guy went on a rampage, and it looks like he's unalived between 20 and 22 people in a bowling alley and a bar. So I'm not sure if that's one place, a bowling alley / bar. But yeah, this guy's he's been on the run after he did this. I'd love to just go the ocean side in upstate. Beautiful. Oh, might get movement, friends. Yes, well said. Well said. Why do I even keep that? Mm-mm. No, not at all. And then I don't think that they've caught the guy that shot the judge in his driveway. I guess he had ruled for the mother to have custody of the kids. So he just went to his house and shot him. It's like, what? Deadly shooting spree prompts sprawling manhunt and lockdowns in Maine. How far are you from this, friend? Agreed. Are you far from this? Yeah, beautiful. Well, I hope you're all locked up, friend, and just stay safe. If this guy isn't caught, I'm sure he's not over, unless he's already deleted himself, which a lot of these guys do. They can go out there and cause all this havoc, but then they can't deal with the repercussions. Come on. Give us an update on this guy. going on here? So Robert Card is this guy's name. And they're saying at least 16, this is from the Washington Post, at least 16 people were unalived. Manhunt involving hundreds of police officers is underway after a deadly shooting shook this city of about 38,000 people late Wednesday. At least 16 people were killed in Lewiston, a law enforcement official said. Speaking on the condition of, okay, I'm not going to be able to say this right now, anonymity, based on initial information gathered by first responders. Dozen more were injured. The person said law enforcement officials are searching for Robert Card, 40, of Bowdoin, a person of interest who police said should be regarded as armed and dangerous. A second law enforcement official, also speaking on the condition of anonymity, said that a review of Card's background showed that he is an Army reservist who struggled with mental health problems this year. The shootings began just before 7 p.m. on Wednesday, naming 2 businesses associated with the incident, a bowling alley named Just in Time Recreation, and Shamimagi's Bar and Grill, arcade-style restaurant. Police put Lewiston and nearby towns of Lisbon, and Bowdoin under shelter. My God. The violence added to a list of 565 mass shootings reported across the United States this year, according to the Gun Violence Archive. Robert Card, 40, is being sought as a person of interest, and Lewiston police say he should be considered armed and dangerous. Lewiston is the state's second largest city. Is it? Yeah, it's heartbreaking. Person of interest in Maine shooting is a reservist with no military deployments, according to the records. Let me see if I can find anything while we're waiting here. At least 16 people in the mass shooting at a restaurant and a bowling alley. Multiple law enforcement sources, one local counselor. Could be as high as 22 people. We pray there's no more bloodshed after the horrors of last night. An intense manhunt is still underway for a suspect, and police are asking residents to shelter in place. I'll see if I can find anything about my prayers, and this comes from Senator Schumer. My prayers are and will be with all the Mainers and first responders as authorities keep working to locate the shooter. Card enlisted in December 2002 and has had no combat deployment. According to his record, he is the recipient of a standard military awards, including the Army Achievement Medal, 2 Army Reservist Component Achievement Medals, and Humanitarian Service Medal. What? A National Defense Service Medal. What? And the Army Service Ribbon. Whoa. President Joe Biden ordered flags be lowered to half-staff on Wednesday as a mark of respect for the victims in the senseless act of violence. I want to know if he was an instructor. And they're saying in this one article, at least 60 others have been injured. Shootings at a bar and a bowling alley in Lewiston, Maine. People need to stay away from Robert Card, a Maine resident said. The family and Robert, they're all gun fanatics. For all intent purposes, they are very much associated with right-wing militias. It's known in the town to stay away from them and do not approach them. Whoa. So this person, Kent, said that he vividly remembers when he went to a store as a kid and saw Card at a nearby way station with a dead deer. Card was grinning, covered in the red stuff, but with a, oh my goodness. So yeah, he's a sick puppy. He would shoot guns all the time. You could hear them every day after school. It was like clockwork. Just lovely.
Oh, excuse me.
Okay, I'm going to mute so we can hear this, good friends.
You all in? Thank you for being here. As you may notice, my voice is a little hoarse after working through the night. As you all know, last night, locals, county, state, and federal law enforcement officers from around the state of Maine responded to reports of an active shooter at several locations in Lewiston, including Spare Time Recreation and Schmandy's Bar and Grill. These law enforcement officers, in the face of danger, responded swiftly, selflessly, and with great bravery. Bravery that they continue to demonstrate today as they search tirelessly for a person of interest in connection with last night's events. On behalf of all Maine people, I express my deep gratitude for your response and for your continued service. I also do so for Maine's hospitals and other medical emergency responders. I'm profoundly saddened to stand before you today to report that 18 people lost their lives and 13 people injured in last night's attacks. In memory of those we lost and in honor of those who were injured, President Biden and I have ordered all U.S. flags and state of Maine flags to be lowered to half-staff immediately for the next 5 days. Maine State Police have issued a shelter-in-place order for Lewiston, Lisbon, and Bowdoin as the manhunt for that person of interest, Robert Card of Bowdoin, continues. I will let law enforcement speak to the ongoing manhunt and to their investigation, but Mr. Card is considered armed and dangerous, and police advise that Maine people should not approach him under any circumstances. I continue to strongly urge Maine people to follow the direction of state and local law enforcement amid this ever-changing situation. Please, if you see anything suspicious, please call 911. There are still many things we don't yet know about these attacks, but the full weight of my administration is behind law enforcement's efforts to capture the person of interest, Robert Card, to hold whoever is responsible for this atrocity accountable under the full force of state and federal law, and to seek full justice for the victims and their families. We cannot, and we will not rest in this endeavor. My administration is coordinating closely with local, regional, and federal officials to respond to this shooting. I have spoken twice with President Biden. I've spoken with Vice President Harris, Secretary of Homeland Security in my office, and Secretary of Health and Human Services, Sarah. All of whom have called me last night to express the Biden administration's full and unwavering support and to offer any and all help that we, people of Maine, might require. The governors of our neighboring New England states and of other states have contacted me to offer aid, and I'm sincerely grateful for their friendship and support. We've been in touch with every member of the Maine congressional delegation, all of whom have offered their full support, for which I am also grateful. I also spoke with Mayor Carl Chalene and Auburn Mayor, Jason Lebec last night to reiterate that we are standing by them and that we are ready to provide any help people in these communities need, and to deploy all available state resources, including grief counselors and other mental health services. We need to help our communities heal. If you or a person you love needs someone to talk to during this difficult time, please call or text 988 for free and confidential counseling. 988. Look, Lewiston is a special place. It's a close-knit community with a long history of hard work, of persistence, of faith, of opening its big heart to people everywhere. Lewiston is where I worked for years. It's where I met and married my husband, and where our girls went to school. I love this place just as I love the whole state with my entire heart. I'm so deeply saddened, as is every one of the 1.3 million people of this beautiful state. This city did not deserve this terrible assault on its citizens, on its peace of mind, on its sense of security. No city does, no state, no people. No words can truly or fully measure the grief of many people today. Our small state of just 1.3 million people has long been known as one of the safest states in the nation. This attack strikes at the very heart of who we are and the values we hold dear for this precious place we call home. All Maine people are sharing the sorrow of the families who lost loved ones last night. Loved ones, normal people who were killed or injured while unwinding from a day of work or while spending time with family and friends, socializing. So on behalf of the 1.3 million people of the whole state of Maine, I hold these families and this city in my heart today. I know that the people of Lewiston are enduring immeasurable pain. I wish I could take that pain off your hearts, off your shoulders, but I promise you this, we will all help you carry that grief. I ask many people to join me in offering our comfort to the families and friends who have lost someone, and in offering our prayers for swift recovery for those who are healing in Maine's hospitals today. This is a dark day for Maine. I know it's hard for us to think about healing when our hearts are broken. But I want every person in Maine to know that we will heal together. We are strong, we are resilient, we are a very caring people. In the days and weeks ahead, we will need to lean on those qualities more than ever before. As we move forward, struggling as we may, let us wrap our arms around one another, offer comfort and solace and love. I know the Maine State Police will continue to release information to the public as we confirm it, and information about any steps that the public might take to support the people of Lewiston at this time. May God bless the people of Lewiston and bless the memories of those we've lost. Thank you. I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Sasha.
Thank you very much, Governor. We certainly appreciate your support. The city of Lewiston does, the state of Maine, and certainly our first responders. We feel that love every day. And thank you very much for that. I would also say that we want to say thank you to a really large number of other elected officials across our state, whether that's the federal delegation, local elected officials, and many others that are part of organizations or law enforcement agencies that truly wanted to join us today at this particular press event. And wanted to speak on behalf of their communities. And as the governor had mentioned, and everybody else will reiterate, our reality for today is that this suspect is still at large. And we want to provide community support for the victims, for the families, and the communities across the state. But we also have an incredibly strong laser-like focus on bringing this suspect into custody and ultimately to justice. So because of that mission for this particular event and today's activities, we're keeping the list of speakers in the agenda pretty tight. And that will include next up at the podium would be Chief Dave St. Pierre for the city of Lewiston. And some other members of his command staff are present. What I will say to the city of Lewiston, and you know this because you feel it every day, but you're lucky to have a chief like Chief St. Pierre and his entire law enforcement agency. From every level, those officers put their heart and their soul on the line on behalf of their community last night and into today. And they're doing it for the right reasons. They do it because they care. So the city of Lewiston and truly our co-responder family across the state of Maine is lucky to have Dave and his team in the mix with us. And we're also going to hear from Colonel William Ross from the Maine State Police. And Bill will highlight some of the timeline things that you're probably concerned about and certainly interested in from a story perspective. So the Colonel will come up and speak to that. And we'll also have Jody Cohen. And Jody is the special agent in charge for the FBI out of the Boston field office. And Jody will highlight some of those federal partnerships and some of the things that our federal partners are bringing to the table, bringing to bear to help us with this investigation. We also have a bunch of people here. Once you start naming people, you're going to have a problem because you're going to forget somebody or screw something up. But I would also tell you that a couple of our other federal partners are here. Kevin Neal, who's the U.S. Marshal for the District of Maine. We also have James Ferguson, and Jim is the special agent in charge from the ATF for the Boston Field Division. They are heavily invested with staff along with the FBI, and we can't thank them enough for all that they're doing on behalf of our state. I would also tell you that we are going to close with a brief Q&A, and we're going to try to get some of those questions out there. We appreciate your time, your patience, your professionalism, your partnership in getting this information out. I would think that those questions are going to be brief because, again, we do have a suspect at large. And while you can help us with that, we also need to get back to our team to push forward on that. So with that in mind, I would be back up to the podium and kind of steer that a little bit. But for starters, I would like Chief St. Pierre to join.
Thank you, Director Sashak, and welcome media partners, and thank you, Governor Mills, for those kind words. I'm going to keep this short. What I would like the very most is to express our deepest sympathies to the families and friends of the victims of this heinous crime. This is truly a tragedy that goes beyond comprehension. I'm confident in our community, that our community has and will continue to come together throughout this endeavor to bring this to a successful conclusion. Although difficult, I do ask the public to continue to be mindful of their own personal safety and also that they be patient with the process as much as possible. There is extensive work and attention to detail that goes into such a large-scale investigation. I'm confident in the expertise and professionalism of our investigators and all law enforcement officials that are currently involved. This is an all hands-on-deck approach. We have a great deal of collaboration and resources that have been made available to us. There are far too many to name individually, but I think Director Sasha named quite a few appropriately. There are far too many, as I stated, but they are all appreciated more than you know. I want to thank all of our brave men and women of the Lewiston Police Department, Fire Department staff, medical personnel, first responders of any kind that came from far and wide and have come together and continue to work tirelessly in bringing the situation to an end. We hope to locate and hold the person accountable. I think you'll hear next from the state police, who is taking the lead in this investigation. Although that we are working hand in hand with them, I think Colonel Ross will be able to fill you in on a little bit more.
Thank you, Chief. First and foremost, this is an ongoing homicide investigation and search for the person that is responsible for it. We're in the early stages of this investigation, and I just want to let you know we will have updates. We'll be putting some type of a schedule out later on. But again, early stages of a homicide investigation, we want to be careful that we're doing things correctly. We want to get ahead of ourselves. I'm going to give you a bit of a timeline here to kind of fill in some of the blanks and give you some of the facts as we know them right now. A lot of this information will then be transferred to the Attorney General's office, as they will be the lead prosecutor, again, in any homicide investigation. Last night, October 25th at approximately 6:56 p.m., the Auburn Communications Center received a 911 call of a male shooting in just-in-time, or the spare time, recreation center in the town of Lewiston, located at 24 Mollison Way in Lewiston. Shortly after that, at about 7:08 p.m., the Communications Center received multiple 911 calls about an active shooter inside of a Schmenge's Billiards at 553 Lincoln Street in the town of Lewiston. A large law enforcement response from multiple surrounding agencies assisted the Lewiston Police Department in trying to identify who this individual was and what was happening. As you can imagine, this was a very fast-paced, fast-moving, very fluid scene, very dangerous scene that these guys and girls are going into. 18 people are now deceased at this time. The victims at the just-in-time establishment, 7 people are deceased there, 1 female and 6 males, all from an apparent gunshot wound. Victims at the Schmegley's Billiards, 8 are deceased. 7 males inside the establishment, 1 male outside of the establishment. Again, also apparent gunshot wounds. So multiple people were transferred to area hospitals, Central Maine Medical Center, St. Mary's, and Maine Medical Center. 3 people that were transferred to those hospitals are deceased, for a total of 18 people deceased at this time. The investigation into the person responsible for this identified a vehicle located at the Bridget Scott boat landing in Lisbon. That person, through the registration of that vehicle, was identified, as been stated earlier, as a Robert Card, born in 1983. Several of the deceased have been identified, and their families, next of kin, have been notified. Approximately 8 people at this point have been identified. 10 people, 10 of these victims, still need to be identified at this time. Currently, there is an arrest warrant for 8 counts of murder for Mr. Card. And the reason it's 8 counts because 10 people have not yet been identified. As those people are identified, the counts will probably go to the total of 18. He should be considered armed and dangerous. Based on our investigation, we believe this is someone that should not be approached. This is someone that should be, if you come into any contact with this individual or someone that you think looks like this individual, you were to call 911, and I'll provide some tip line numbers at the conclusion of my briefing. Lewiston Police Department, federal, state, county, and other local municipalities are involved in a coordinated search at this moment for this individual. So there's the ongoing investigation and there's a search to apprehend this person. Both happen simultaneously. I can't stress this enough. This is an ongoing investigation in the early stages. More information will come out in conjunction with the Attorney General's office as the lead prosecutor. We can't share all of our information right now, and I'm sure you understand that. I'm going to give out two numbers that go to a tip line. 911 is also appropriate for this, but if anyone can call these two numbers, this would go to the state police tip line. Area code 207-213-9526, 207-509-9002. And we'll be sending something out later that has that information in it if you weren't able to grab that now. Again, this is a very fluid situation. We have a lot of resources, as Chief St. Pierre had mentioned earlier, that are on the ground in a coordinated effort to apprehend this individual. We notified the Department of Education, and they have determined what they're going to do with the schools. A lot of schools, area schools, were shut down today based on our conversation with them. Again, as more information comes in, we'll be providing it to you. Thank you for your time. This is a very difficult time for, I think, the community of Lewiston, difficult time for obviously the victims' families, and it's a tough time for law enforcement. It was a rough night last night, but we're committed to bringing whoever's responsible to justice. And again, we are currently looking for Mr. Card right now, someone that we'd like to apprehend. Thank you.
Thank you, Colonel. And FBI Special Agent in Charge, Cohen, if you could join me, please.
Thank you. My name is Jody Cohen. I'm the Special Agent in Charge of FBI Boston Division, which covers the state of Maine. Our hearts go out to everyone who was impacted as a result of the senseless violence. The FBI is working hand in hand with our law enforcement partners. Our evidence response team is here processing very extensive scenes. We are providing investigative and tactical support, as well as our victim specialists are working with those affected by this tragedy. As this very active investigations continues to unfold, we're asking the public to stay vigilant and come forward with any information that you might have that you feel is helpful to our investigators. My pledge is that the FBI will carry out this investigative case with rigor. We will work day and night alongside our law enforcement partners to get the answers to the questions this community deserves. We thank the public for your continued cooperation and patience as we continue to work this very active investigation. Thank you.
Appreciate that. And I would say that the reality here from a resource standpoint is that when we've asked for anything, the answer has been yes, period. Tactical teams, evidence response teams, full-blown investigative units, detective units that have come from multiple states, whether it's the commissioners from Vermont and New Hampshire reaching out to me directly, Massachusetts saying, what do you need, Mike? What can we do for the state of Maine? So we are now prepared to try to take a few questions. And keep in mind, again, that we may not be able to answer as in-depth as you would like, and we don't plan on taking a great deal of questions. I think follow-up press events will allow for that.
So no one has really talked about the weapon that was used here, AR style, so hope someone can talk about that. But the other thing here is there are reports that this individual had mental health issues, that he made threats to shoot up the National Guard. So clearly there were some signs there that he was on someone's radar. The question becomes, why was he in possession of this weapon? And certainly why wasn't he stopped sooner?
Yeah, I think those are all valid questions, and certainly questions that we are looking into now, but not questions that we can answer today. Considering that this occurred last night, there's still an active search for the suspect in question. So I appreciate those questions, but not something we're going to be able to answer right
But
now.
is it something that you're investigating and looking?
It is certainly one of those things that we want to follow up on, all
Why-
aspects of that.
Why does it?
Go ahead, right here. Yes.
Can you give us a sense of the ages of who has died, how many are under 18 and how many are over 18?
I'm not sure we have that information with us today. We wanted to break it down by gender because that's something we had readily available. We did not break this down into age ranges at all.
So what can you tell us about the background of the suspect in this case, or I should say the person of interest, because I noticed the language is very clear. You're saying person of interest, not suspect. So why use that terminology, and what can you tell us about his background?
Yeah, I think we used person of interest last night for half of the room that was here for that press event. As the colonel had mentioned, there is now arrest warrants for murder for this particular individual, Mr. Carr. So he is viewed as a suspect, and there is a full court press by all of our partners to bring him into custody. What was the second piece of that?
What can you tell us about his background? I wanted to ask a second ago about the idea that he had voiced concerns about his own mental health, right? Had been committed, according to language in a police bulletin, to a mental health facility for weeks. How could someone that fits that profile still be in possession of semi-automatic weapons?
Well, I do think that the statutes around firearms and the possession of those are pretty complex. I know that we'll be reviewing that information as we move forward, but that's not an answer that we're prepared to give today. But that leads to motive. You're talking about behavioral health issues and how that impacts this situation. I would expect you'll hear back from us on that in the future. Right here, sir.
Yeah, I've got a question about using helicopters as far as work as, but can you tell us anything about what's leading you, that far north of the seaboard?
Yeah, sure. So we have law enforcement assets that are deployed over a number of communities, doing follow-ups on a number of different things. So as you can imagine, there's a great deal of search warrants that we're following up on. We do have partners, that helicopters from the New Hampshire State Police. That copter was here last night to assist us as well. So whether we have tactical elements out or we're searching an area, some of those air assets would be very, very valuable. So that's what they're doing. We're not going to speak to what brings us to a specific community one way or the other. Yes, ma'am. Right here.
Identifying the unidentified victims, what are people encouraged to do? Is there DNA being, tested for family members who may have missing loved ones? Like, what is that?
Yeah, so we did have a family reunification center open last night. We do have behavioral health liaisons that are fully engaged to work with families and work with loved ones and work with victims for that matter that may be in the hospital and seeking treatment. So those things are actively occurring. We are dealing with each one of those situations separately. So do we need DNA on that? Are we just waiting to find a loved one? Some kind of family member that we can make a notification. I think that varies across the board. I'm going to take two more questions. Right here.
Yes, so there's some sort of triggering event, that's something that you're investigating.
I think we're always concerned around motive. That you say triggering event, that's a motive for us. Again, that's not something we're prepared to discuss today, but I do appreciate the question. It's clearly something that's important. One additional follow-up to you.
Can you help us understand why these locations, why this bar, why this bowling alley? What's looking for someone, what's looking for something?
I think that does speak to motive, so I appreciate the follow-up, but not something we're going to be prepared to answer today. I have one more question. Right here, sir. Right here.
Can you say, is Card super talk to clarify, the arrest warrants issued today, and can you say if Card is still in the state or he's still not?
Well, we're actively searching for him. If I knew the answers to those questions, then this would be a different press conference, I would assume. So we don't know his location, and I'll leave it at that. And we are working with the Attorney General's office. So with that in mind, we're done taking questions for now. So we are going to actually take off at this point. Thank you very much for being here.
Sir, you're not, have there been any credible sightings? I mean, we've not really gotten many answers. So
Thank you.
Well, there we go, guys. Everybody's scrambling out of the courthouse. So they need to find this guy. Oh la la. Mental problems and firearms, not really the best combination, is it? Oh, no. Oh, I bet it is going to bring up gun control in America again. Wow. And the thing is, I mean, here in Canada, we don't have any kind of access as far as firearms as in any way really hunt, and that's about it. So I don't know. I don't really know what it's like to live in a country that they're so easily that you can get them so easily. But with that said, I've seen some pretty interesting things that people have made. It's like, oh my God. So they figure it out. But was he? He was an active firearm trainer. Scary there. They should have put a red flag on his guns. That makes sense. And if he's hearing voices, like something is obviously going sideways with this guy. But oh la, right? Unfortunately, I don't believe it will, Tracy. The NRA has deep pockets and patriots won't vote for. Okay. So do you think that a person should be able to have carry permits, or do you think the guns should just be gone as far as the average person holding them? Yeah. So they know what kind of weapon was used. I'm sure they do. I'm sure. So buckle up, everybody that's in that state. Even if they put a law in place, so many backstreet, etc., ways to find a way to get the one. Yeah, it's like I said, if Canada here, we don't have handguns and what have you. But I've seen some of that like online and pictures, and oh my God, where people literally make them out of like pipes and things. It's like, oh my word. And then they go out and scare people with them. So I don't know. I don't really understand why people need those like machine gun type things. I don't see a purpose for that. Protection, okay. But I don't know. I don't see a real good reason for those, like, what are they called? Automatic, semi-automatic. I don't know anything about them. But those big ones, like, what's the purpose of having them? Just strictly for like target practice? No. I don't know, but they have to do something with gun control. Far too many lives are being ruined in UK unless you're special police or special force police. No law, but it's still available if you know where to go. Absolutely. I believe it. Because you know what? That's kind of the way Canada is. Well, good day there, Miss Megsy. Really? Yeah. AR type thing. What does AR stand for? But I know what you're talking about, but I don't know what the AR means. I'd be down to make assault rifles illegal for citizens. I'm a gun gal, but there is no logical reason for a civilian in America to carry an assault. Oh, is that what an AR is? Assault rifle. Okay. Okay, yeah, I don't see a reason for that because this is what happens. I mean, we see it time and time again. I mean, right now we've got this guy, and then we've got that judge because I don't think that guy's been caught yet. My guy has conceal and carry. I'm down for that, but not weapons used in war. Yeah, that's kind of how I see it. With Canada, I would be up to having them just to keep us protected, but no automatic weapons. I don't understand how that's even a thing. Did they get him in alive or was it? I don't know, to be honest with you. Sarah, good to see you, friend. Military weapons and automatic weapons need to be banned. Yeah. Yeah, they're still looking for them. Yeah, absolutely. So you know what? Armalite rifle is a Armalite rifle. What is Armalite? You see, I know nothing. Armalite rifle is AR. Sad part of this is it's going to be more about this guy's mental health and gun control. Victims are going to be forgotten again. And you know what? That seems to be what happens, doesn't it? You know, yesterday I did something on Crystal Rogers, and it blew me away. You know, how many people have never really heard of that case. So this stuff, yeah, it gets, I don't know, swept under a carpet, or I don't know, but it is the people. If they're saying there's 16, we need to know those 16 people's name so we can honor them. This guy, psycho with a weapon. I mean, unreal, unfreaking real. So you know what, guys? I'm going to leave it here, and I'm going to see. So always remember the perp's names, but never the victim. Time that changed. Yes. Oh, sorry for the caps. Oh, that's okay. That's okay. I fired that bot. Don't worry about it, friend. That thing was too anal. So, guys, thank you very much for being here, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.